Hello, this is the question that you found in the group and the right answer is B. Now, when we're talking about but, although, however, despite, we're talking about contrast. If I say she went on a strict diet, what do you expect? You expect that she loses weight. But when we're talking about contrast, we're talking about unexpected result. Let's have some examples. He works day and night. You expect he's rich. He studied hard. You expect that he passed. But in contrast, he works day and night, he's poor. He studied hard, he failed. So basically that's the meaning of contrast. And when we're talking about contrast, we're talking about, let's say, black and white, tall and short, old and new. We have 4 ways to express contrast. We can use adverbs, subordinators, coordinators, or prepositions. Coordinators, you can use but and you can use yet. If you remember, coordinators are fanboys. Now these are some examples. She went on a diet, but she didn't lose weight. Yet shows more surprise though. Now subordinators are the words that connect one independent clause and one dependent clause. We can use also even though and though. These 3 are the same meaning, except for that though is the least formal and even though is the strongest. Although she went on a diet, she didn't lose weight. Now the 3rd type is prepositions. We have 2 prepositions that show contrast, despite and in spite of. Let's have examples. Remember, these are prepositions, and prepositions are followed usually by nouns or noun phrases. Despite strict dieting, she didn't lose weight. In spite of strict dieting, she didn't lose weight. The 4th type is adverbs. However, nevertheless, nonetheless, tell. Adverbs, they're preceded by a semicolon and followed by a comma. She went on a diet, nevertheless, she didn't lose weight. She went on a diet, nonetheless, she didn't lose weight. She went on a diet, still, she didn't lose weight. Let's have the 4 types using the same sentence on the same slide. She went on a diet, however, she didn't lose weight. Let's remember that however comes in the middle between the 2 clauses or maybe the 2 sentences. It's preceded by a semicolon and followed by a comma. Coordinators are just pretty much the same. They come in the middle, but they're preceded by a comma. She went on a diet, but she didn't lose weight. Although comes at the beginning, or it can come in the middle. If it's at the beginning, we use a comma. But something very important we should notice here. Although is attached to the first clause, she went on a diet. Although she went on a diet, comma, she didn't lose weight. But is not attached, and however as well. They're not attached to the first clause, she went on a diet. They're attached, or they come at the beginning of the second clause, she didn't lose weight. So whenever you make examples, make sure the meaning stands. The 4th one is a preposition, despite dieting. After despite, you have a gerund phrase, or a noun. She didn't lose weight. Despite dieting, she didn't lose weight. Some more notes. Number 1, adverbs. She went on a diet, semicolon, however, comma, she didn't lose weight. Now we can divide the sentence into 2 sentences, full stop, and then we start the second sentence with however, and then with a capital H, comma, and then we continue the sentence. This can be done with nonetheless, nevertheless, and still. She went on a diet, she didn't lose weight, however. So it can come at the end of the second sentence as well. When we go to subordinators, though functions almost like however. Though she went on a diet, comma, she didn't lose weight. This is what we studied, or the examples we saw before. She went on a diet, period. She didn't lose weight, comma, though. So though can come at the end of a second sentence. Other meanings of these connectors, but for example, everyone attended the meeting but Ahmed. But here is not a conjunction, it's not a coordinator, it's a preposition. It means save for or except for. Everyone attended the meeting except Ahmed. However, has another meaning as well. Here it's not an adverb, it's a connector, it's a subordinator. However, I try to give him advice, he never listens. However, here means no matter how much advice I give him, he never listens to me. Have some more examples in the coming videos.
It's a simple market, but it's a market nonetheless, where the better trading partner is consistently favored.
Right, they've negotiated their compensation to some degree, but nevertheless, they are being undervalued.
Most of these are going to neon green. They're beginning to standardize these. However, some of them can be blue or they could be green, indicating a school zone.
Having great components is not enough, and yet we've been obsessed in medicine with components.
The water's 85 degrees, and yet you're losing weight and using calories.
No, you won't be flawless, but you can improve every single day.
Success catapults you just as abruptly, but just as far, way out over here, into the equally blinding glare of fame and recognition and praise.
We don't have a wealth tax, though maybe we should.
Even though white men make up just 30% of the US population, they hold 70% of all corporate board seats.
Thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Stay tuned for the next video. All the best.